Well, hello, and welcome back to Fair Life with Andrew McKee. I am Andrew McKee, and yes, I am feeling pretty good considering it's a Monday after a weekend of fair, and it was a little chilly. Not gonna lie, it was a bit on the cold side. Not horribly so, but I definitely had to dress more layers, essentially. I'm sure you've all been there. But hey, Jan, and hey, Kurt, great to see you. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Hey, Harvey. And it is. Yeah, it is an interesting. It was an interesting weekend, but yeah, my shows went very well. Good crowds, good audience. Everybody was really into it, and yeah, I mean, it was real. I really have no complaints over the weekend. I know it was, a little wind on Saturday and a little chilly, but yeah, really no complaints because I'm trying to think if there was even one bad show, and there really wasn't. All of them went well. I have 4 shows per day, so that's really nice, and then an extra fifth pub sing show at the end of the day on Saturday, so I get to play with some of the other musicians, and that's a lot of fun. So everything went wonderfully. Yeah, and oh, hey Nancy, and hello from the reference desk. I like that. That's good. That's good. But yeah. Oh, and hey Dan. Cool. Yeah, it is a interesting. It's an interesting time, and this fair. I'm going to admit that last year I was a little unsure. It was a very small fair, and they really emphasized a relaxed atmosphere, not sticklers for any type of historical accuracy. It's a fantasy fair, and I wasn't quite sure what to make of it because the fair was a bit secondary to just having fun and camping, and that was the mentality. But they also had really good vendors, some of which come from the Texas Renaissance Festival, and they're just in the off season, so why not go there? And this year they have 55 vendors, which is pretty good for a small fair. So yeah, I was really surprised, and I wasn't quite sure what to make of it. But this year, I kind of get it. I think I've kind of converted over, and I've told you before that I've kind of struggled a little bit with what a fair should be. And I think for a Renaissance fair, I have a pretty good idea, but this is a little different. This is a fantasy fair, and I've started to respect their approach, and I get it. So that's pretty nice. And I know what you mean, Harvey. It is supposed to be relaxed and fun, but generally a Ren fair, I think I still want a little bit of history and a little bit of education to it. Without that, it seems like something else. But again, this is a fantasy fair, so it makes perfect sense, and they lean into the different fantasy genres and a little bit of everything, and I appreciate it. But honestly, I think they go a little. It's like a fair is the secondary thing. Camping and hanging out around campfires at night and having fun. That's the main focus, and the fair is it's with a fair, but the camping is the focal point, and it's an interesting route to go that I really haven't seen another fair go to that extreme with that. So it's kind of interesting, but I've come to like it. I totally will say that. Oh wow, yeah, haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. And Sarit, hey, and Janine, and Kathy, hey. Yeah, it was a good weekend. I just have to say that. I really had a good time, and I'm looking forward to next weekend if it happens. Because Fair of Champions, the forecast is it might rain heavily on Friday night over there in East Texas, and if it does, it's going to get below freezing. So might get some snow, and then it might rain all day Saturday, and it'll probably get above freezing on Saturday, but just. So yeah, I don't know. Of course, still way early to look at forecasts. I've said that before. Monday is not the best time to take anything meteorologists say to heart, but it they're looking at it, and from what I've heard, Thursday they're going to make the call about whether they cancel the fair for this weekend or not, because it's not next to a main highway. I mean, it takes a little bit. That's like about a 10-mile drive on smaller roads off the that highway, and it's a little tough to get to. I mean, after you do it the first time, it's pretty easy, but that first time, it's a little weird. So for safety, I totally get where they're coming from. So we'll see. I will post on Thursday what they say and if they're actually going to have the fair. But yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing a fair this weekend or not. It's a weird feeling because I'm so used to doing it one after another. But we shall see. We shall see. Yeah. So that's kind of what's been going on with me. Fairs have changed a little bit. Still just a few fairs going on this weekend. We still have, I think, 6 we had last weekend, and we still have 6 again. But interestingly, a couple of the 2 Florida fairs closed, and now and now there's 2 new Florida fairs that came to take their place. Florida dominates fairs in January and February. It is crazy. They have a lot of fairs in Florida. I think they're not the largest, the most fairs of any state, but they're in the top 5 easy. I think California dominates, and there are a few other states, but Florida's in the mix for the most fairs. And most of them are in this time of year. It's really crazy how they do that. But yeah. Oh, so I know I have a lot of friends who are doing the Florida fair, so I'll be curious to see how those go. Oh, right. Yeah, because there's the fair in Louisiana. It's an interesting thought. I suppose I could just go to another fair. There are worse ideas. I don't know. That's still probably a good 4 or 5 hour drive to get there. I'll actually be more because I'm not staying at that fair. It's probably 6 hours away, maybe 7. So that would be a bit of a haul, but yeah, I suppose I could. It's an interesting thought, Harvey. I will think about that because I really had not thought about that right until you mentioned that. Oh, wow. A new fair in Jersey? I had not heard that. The Cape May, New Jersey Renaissance Fair? Okay. Well, that's going to be a mouthful. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah. New Jersey, they're just exploding with rent fairs. That's really wild. Do you know what time of year it is? Because that's going to be key to see how that goes. I assume since the New Jersey fairs and kind of late spring, early summer, they do it in the fall, but I don't know. Uh, oh, it's called Cape May. So it's just Cape May Ren Fair. Okay. That makes more sense. I was starting to wonder because that was strange. First weekend of May. Huh. So it'll be right before the New Jersey Fair because the New Jersey Fair starts in the middle of May. Hmm. I don't know if that's good or bad. If that's a good choice, uh, I guess it has advantages because they can look at it as a preface to the New Jersey Fair, and people might go there kind of just to get their fair on before, test out new garb, do that before they go to New Jersey. Okay. And if they expand it, they could expand the other direction and um, go back into April or add it the second weekend in May, which still doesn't conflict with New Jersey. Okay, I could see that. I guess there's some wisdom there, but definitely an interesting time of year. You can still sometimes up there, it can get a little chilly sometimes up there in April, and maybe early May. I'll see. I'll be curious. I'll definitely be curious how that goes. Definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. That is good information. I'll look into that. Thanks, guys. Hmm. Let's see. Other than that, I did notice something else on the fair list this week. There were a couple of fairs I did not put on the list. And like we just said, I've struggled a little bit with what's a Ren Fair and what's not a Ren Fair. And these didn't quite make it, partly because they're either one day or one weekend. And They just, it's not so much about being a fair, it's a marketing event for a business. One's at a mall, where the mall is just trying to do an event to draw people into the mall, and they're theming it as a Renaissance event. And the other one is that one's in Maryland, and another one is a pub in Iowa, and I think Des Moines, that is doing a Ren Fair themed event just one day to try to get people into the pub. And I'm like, I just, that's not a Ren Fair. I mean, it's a Renaissance themed marketing event. You're promoting your business. You're not promoting an event per se. You're using an event to promote your business, and that's kind of, that kind of bothered me a little bit. I think that's kind of where I'm drawing the line. They also don't even have a dedicated web page. They're going strictly with a Facebook page event, and it just lacks any type of permanence. You're not really dedicating things to the event. It's about your business you're trying to promote. So I don't know. What do you think about that? Am I going too far with that? I mean, do you think events like that deserve to be on the fair list, or am I being too? Am I being too rigid with my views, or do you agree with me? Do you think, those are kind of pushing the envelope? I mean, next thing you know, we have a kid's birthday party that's Renaissance fair themed, and we're putting it on the list. I mean, what do you think? Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But that's kind of where I am with it. For now, I left it on the list. But if y'all want me to, I can start adding those. I guess it's kind of interesting to know if you're in that area. But it just doesn't strike. Yeah. Okay, so it's not just me. Thank you. That actually makes me feel a little better. I wasn't sure for a second. That's just, it's a weird concept. I mean, I think for me, the biggest problem I have with it is it's the motivation. You're promoting your business. You're not promoting a concept. You're using a concept to promote your business. And that, it doesn't set well with me. If you were promoting an event and maybe co-branding your business with it, but you were wanting to make a separate event that your business maybe sponsored and supported and maybe benefited from a little bit, but it was obviously this is a dedicated event that it's all about the event mainly, I could get behind that. But these don't really feel that way. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, and that's promoting the fair, but that's a little different. That's like a lot of fairs get booths at promotional booths at conventions, at farmers markets, at events. I mean, just to try to promote your fair. Sometimes even parades. They'll go and march in a parade for a town nearby, the fair, just to try to get people thinking that, hey, there's a fair nearby. So that makes sense. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, totally get that. Yeah, I agree with you, Janine. That's if they make it an annual event and it grows beyond just promoting their business, I totally, I mean, sometimes that happens. You make an event, it's successful, but it's so successful, you're thinking maybe this can exist on its own. And yeah, I mean, we do things for ridiculous reasons that sometimes stick. I'm a musician. Yeah, I did not think I would do this when I was a kid. So it just sometimes you trip and fall and you become something and you're just like, wow. And I love it and I'm so happy it happened. But yeah, sometimes sometimes it comes from the weirdest places. Good things come from strange places. So yeah, I totally agree. That could be. That could be. Yeah, you're right. Smithville is interesting. You do some interesting things there. And yeah, totally. Yeah, I've seen Scarby in the booth at the North Texas Irish Festival, and that's just promoting at another event. And of course, I'm sure they pay a booth fee. Maybe they get a break or a deal. I don't know. It's because you're not selling anything. I'm sure they have some particular fee structure for that, but yeah, I mean, you do that to promote your fair, and I think that's a great idea, but that's different. So yeah, I really think. But yeah, thanks for letting me know. It's not just me. It's that's who. Uh, oh, really? Okay. Promotes the whole event as a Ren Fair. It's not just a fair to booth. Interesting. Yeah, and I've also seen some events way up north in New England or Alaska or something like that, where they have a fair that's all indoors. It's more like a convention than it is an outdoor Ren Fair. But because of the time of year, it's, snow outside, it's crazy, it's cold, it's maybe constant rain or whatever. The weather's normally bad. So they do it indoors and set it up. And I respect that, because you're working with the weather you have, and that's fine. But this is a little different. But yeah, I agree with you, Dan. It is sort of that gray area. So I'm not sure. I'm not really sure about it. Yeah, but anyway, that's why I left those off. If you're keeping track or looking at other lists that have fairs that are upcoming and I don't happen to list that, that's why I've left a few of them off, because they're only referenced as a Facebook page, which the reason I do Facebook and YouTube at the same time for dual streaming is because, some people don't have a Facebook account and they don't want to set up an account just to watch a video. So you can go over to YouTube and watch it there if you want. And I try to do that on purpose, just to give people options. When I first started doing this 5 years ago, I was very adamant. No, not going to limit myself to just Facebook. And I've thought about expanding more to either Twitch or even TikTok or something else, but I've held off, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. I might still do that and triple stream or something. I could see me doing that. I am that crazy. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, before COVID and everything, there were a lot of events. One of the interesting things is you'll see a lot of fairs on the list now, for this month especially, that only started in the last few years. Post-COVID, there was such a demand for events starting in 2021, 2022. When everything started getting back, everybody wanted to go out and do stuff. And Ren fairs were really popular for that. Most of the Ren fairs going on had a huge surge of people coming in, especially compared to what they were used to right before in 2019. And I think a lot of fairs cropped up partly because of that. And you're going to see a little bit more of that. And of course, January was a very open month where they didn't have many Ren fairs. So I think that's probably why a lot popped up there. But no, they popped up all over. So yeah, I think post-COVID, a lot of Ren fairs have popped up over the last few years, and will continue to. It's very popular, more so than I think I've ever seen or even heard about. It's a huge surge of Ren fairs, so something to watch out for. Yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, something else happened interestingly at a fair this last weekend. I was up on stage and I was thinking about doing all of these Irish rebel songs and playing some really lovely Irish music. But the thought occurred to me, one of the number one rules as a performer at Faire is you leave current events out of it. You don't talk about religion. You don't talk about politics. You just don't do it. It's one of those main rules you learn very quickly. You don't do it. No matter what, it's a lose-lose. At best, you'll please some of the people, but it's too risky to even bother with. It's not worth it. So yeah, I thought about that, and then I realized, well, you leave politics and religion out of it, and here I am playing a whole show of music that is all about politics and religion. So I made the comment to the audience, and they thought that was funny, but they just said, "Yeah, we totally get that." And I don't know. I was thinking, is it a good idea to leave it out? Uh, and of course, yeah, it really is. But I did find it interesting that, yeah, most of my shows are very political and about religion, just because of the songs. Now, of course, it's historical for the most part, but yeah, it is very much about that. So I kind of found that kind of funny. Oh yeah, and Janine's saying, yeah, it's easier to find past episodes on YouTube versus Twitch. Yeah, yeah, and I mean, the interesting thing is all of them have their strengths and weaknesses. I've looked at Twitch, I've looked at TikTok, I've looked at, I mean, they all have strengths and weaknesses, and they're all designed for different things. They really are. YouTube and Facebook are similar, but they are still fairly different. Um, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's not a good idea. It definitely isn't. But I realize I walk a finer line than most performers because of the songs I do. So it kind of made me mindful of, I think I've done all right so far, but I need to make sure I keep it all in a historical context. I think that's better. I really do. I think it's better. Mm. Oh, and I'm really digging this blue behind me. I don't know. I think, I hope y'all can see it as like I'm seeing it, because sometimes video encoders can mess with color a little bit. But yeah, I'm kind of digging the blue. I totally stole the trick I learned from researching the history of Star Trek one time, where the pilot episode of Star Trek back in the 60s, they were really worried about the cost overruns because they had to repaint the walls for every planet they were on. And they ended up just using white walls and then lighting them with gelled lighted or different colored filters for the lights to paint them that way. So I just did this is all white behind me, and I'm just using colored lights to make it look that way. I think it looks pretty good. So yeah, I'm really digging this. I last show, like I said, was a bit of a test to try a few different things, and I think it's tweaked. I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, Janine, I'm totally going to reference that because I think I'm going to do a 7 reasons because I think it was Harvey last week who said, I hope you do a 7 reasons. And yeah, I'll do a 7 reasons on that very topic and mention that because, yeah, you're right. It's not very hard to do. Should be careful with it, but it's really easy to do. Uh, but yeah. Oh, excellent. Thank you. Yeah, I really like the blue. I mean, I've tried different colors, but some just seem to work better than others. For Christmas, I tried, the red and green just to kind of do it for the holiday season, but nah, I'm really liking this. You are not wrong, Liz. Yeah, it is really, it's unavoidable. And the good thing, though, is I tend to stay away from the really angry songs because it's hard for me to, with my personality, to do that. When I do music, even the somewhat angry songs, I tend to lean into the optimistic, happy side because I can't help it. It's just my personality, so I try. But I in ballads, I even do with a kind of a more happy, upbeat spin. Yeah, I talked to the audience a little bit about that yesterday. As a matter of fact, I can't not do it. The slow ballads, I'll still play fast. Yeah, but it's always that fine line. Ooh, it's already 7:25. Man, I've been going on and on. Let's just jump onto the Faire map over here and do that. You can see it's a pretty small map again. January is like that, but you do get the Viking Festival up north because, well, if you're gonna have a Viking Festival in the winter months up north, it's a good plan. And it is nice to have venues to wear that winter garb because I know a lot of performers, cast, even patrons who have really good, lovely garb, but it's so hot in the summer you cannot wear it. And especially down south, even in the spring and fall, you usually can't wear it, or you don't want to. So yeah, having these winter fairs, really nice. Whew, love it. Okay, let's jump on over and bring up, yeah, Mr. Laser Pointer. Gotta love that. Gotta love that so much. Oh, that's a little thing sometimes. Okay, yeah, here we go. All right, first we have in Florida the Hogtown Medieval Fair. Now this has been going on forever. I think it was founded in the mid 80s in Gainesville, Florida. And it's only one weekend, but yeah, so that'll be coming up this weekend. And then we also have the Pinellas Medieval Fair. This is a recent one, like I was telling you before, 2023 is when it was founded, and it is in Largo, Florida. It's first weekend out of 2, so it's got 2 weekends coming up. Jumping over to Harvey Stomping Grounds, the Acadiana Renaissance Fair. And it's been out for a few years. I think it was founded in 2022. And it's in Villa Platte, Louisiana. And yeah, this is the middle of it. 3rd weekend out of 5. And the theme for it is The Voyager. So something to check out. Now then we jump over to Fair of Champions. Now, Fair of Champions is in Palestine, Texas, in East Texas. I will be there, hopefully, and it's the 4th out of 5 weekends. The theme is Winter Wasteland, so definitely leaning into that whole Fallout kind of theme. So they do video games and everything. Like I said, it's a fantasy fair. They lean into some of the really fringe type of Ren Fair themes. So good for them. But yeah, we'll see. I will post Thursday if it happens. We'll check on the weather on that. And then going over here, we have the Kerrville Renaissance Festival, and it's in the middle too. 2nd out of 3 weekends in Kerrville, Texas. And yeah, it's actually pre-COVID. It's 2017. I knew that, but I wasn't quite sure what year. 2017. Interesting. And then going up to Idaho. Now this is at the site for the Idaho Ren Fair. And what they're doing, and this is the first year they're doing this, so this is brand new, but they're doing what they're calling a SCAL. And that's a one weekend Viking festival. It's just the one weekend in Caldwell, Idaho. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm going to be keeping an eye on it just to see. These Viking festivals, they're very hit or miss. Some of them seem to be doing pretty well, some of them not so well. But I can see some of these northern states doing more of a Viking festival in the off season to try to have more events throughout the year, where some fairs do pirate festivals, some do fairy festivals. Yeah, it's in these northern states up here, it's popular to do the Viking festivals. So we'll see if that continues. But I think we're starting to see the end of the Viking craze, because the last 10 years it's been Vikings. And the 10 years before that, it was, pirates, I suppose. And then before that, 10 years before that, it was all about the Scottish kilt and Irish and Scottish. So yeah, you kind of get those decade-long crazes. And I think that's, I'm guessing, because it's been about a decade, I'm thinking we're probably about at the end of that, maybe. And I've seen, for a while, there were a lot of new Viking festivals sprouting up. But I don't know. I don't know if COVID maybe knocked a couple of years out of that, and we've still got a couple of years to go. But I think it might be waning a little bit. But I think it's just we'll just have to see what comes next, because there's always something next, whether it'll be a new show or whatever. I mean, for all I know, we're going to start having, Bridgerton fairs and doing that. And everybody's going to be, 19th and 18th century dress with groups of musketeers and everything. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But it's going to be interesting. Oh, yeah, I know everybody has their own genre of music. Some people like the happy stuff. Some people like the sad stuff. Some people like slow. Some people like fast. I, whenever I'm on stage, I always try to ask the audience what they want to hear. because I never know. And usually I'm right. Usually I give them an option and they go for the fast drinking song, the obvious choice. But sometimes I'm surprised, and a couple people say, "We want the ballad," and I'm like, "Oh, really? You want a ballad? Oh, now I've got to think of a ballad. I really didn't think you'd pick that," and I do it. But it's an interesting round. So yeah, you never know. You never know. There's no right or wrong. It's just preference or taste, and I totally get that. Oh yeah, so gosh, I haven't gone to this screen in this year yet. It's been a while. I haven't done a 7 Reasons in a while. Harvey was right. So yeah, let's jump on that. I like it. Okay, so let's do 7 reasons it's best to leave religion and politics out of fair performance. Now, of course, my situation being unique and different, but in general, why it's good. And let's go with number 7. Etiquette books can't all be wrong. I mean, if you... And I just slammed my mic. Talk about bad etiquette. No, there was going back over 100, 150 years, it was very popular, and an etiquette book and commentary on it, that if you were going to a dinner party at someone's house, you did not discuss religion or politics. It was considered very improper. So if they brought it up, okay, but you shouldn't do it. And yeah, I mean, there was a reason why. It was just smart to do it. Thanks for saying that. I appreciate that. So yes, let's go with number 6. So the 6th reason it's best to leave religion and politics out of a fair performance. Fairs want to avoid bad press, and they don't want to be, they want to please everybody. That's generally what a fair wants. They want everybody to be happy, everybody to enjoy, everybody to come in and have a good time. I mean, that's it. And anything that takes away from that or risks taking away from that, not good. They also don't want bad press. They don't want somebody to come in and say this controversial topic was raised, and the next clickbait article is about your fair. They don't want that. And I think I get it. I can't say they're wrong on this. I mean, whether you want to take a stand in something or not, you're representing a fair. You're not just representing yourself in that situation. So it's not a good idea to co-brand whatever your beliefs are with whatever their beliefs are. And that's, I mean, I guess if they happen to be the same and it's coordinated and you both do it, maybe. But in general, if you haven't talked to them, not a good plan. Number 5. You'll only please some and you'll upset others. I mean, like I said before, it's a lose-lose. Just like I said, sometimes I talk to an audience and I say, hey, you want to hear the fast drinking song or the ballad? And more times than I can count, I've had people say, the fast song, the ballad, and that they'll say it at the same time. Yeah, everybody's different. So it's not a good idea. Number 4, there is an escape. I mean, I think back to the 1930s and whatever your politics are now. I mean, I think back to the Depression era where people weren't happy. And the most popular actor at the time was Shirley Temple. Why? Because she made people feel better. Not because she commented on the state of the economy, because she made people feel better. She made people forget their troubles. And that's kind of what Faire is. It's an escape. I mean, hopefully you're interested, you learn something, you experience something, you have great moments and great selfies, and you can tell everybody about how awesome it is. And you felt emotion, and you all of the important things to you. But in the end, you want to get out of the real world a little bit and have some fun. Forget your troubles. And that's usually an important part of it. Definitely. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. That is true. You're not wrong. You can go that way. Number 3. You know, I look at it as breaking down walls. When people come into Faire, actually, when people go out in public, I'll put it that way, they're on their guard. They don't want to be stupid or appear stupid. They don't want to say the wrong thing. They don't want to trip in front of everybody. They don't want to. A lot of people are worried about doing the wrong thing or making a mistake or anything like that, and they have their walls up. They're guarded, and the goal of, well, I think a lot of performers shows, not all, but a lot of us, is to bring down those walls, to make people feel comfortable, to make people feel accepted, like non-threatened, to they can laugh if they want and nobody's going to judge them. They can smile, they can clap along with the song or sing along, and nobody's going to say, oh, yeah, you need to work on your singing, dude. Man, they can just have fun and relax and not worry about consequences or issues. That's the goal, to just have people have that level of comfort that allows them to calm down in a very stressful world. So yeah, that should be the goal, and that I've always tried to do that, at least to a great extent. So yeah, let's see. Number 2, there are so many other options. I mean, yeah, politics and religion. There are a lot of other things you could talk about. If you could only talk about politics, religion, and one other thing, and those were your options, yeah, eventually you'd get bored with the other thing and you'd feel like, I need to talk about what the others. But, I mean, there are so many other things to talk about, so many other jokes to make, so many other commentaries, so many other, isn't it funny that's... so many other types of toasts you can make on stage. I mean, the field is so vast. So keeping away from a couple of things is not really a hardship. If it was, I'd be more understanding, but it's not. And then number 1, and this this will go back to the comment earlier. History repeats. I mean, come on. I can talk about, the politics of 15th century Germany, and it's, or 12th century Italy, and it's, there's going to be parallels. There always are. Even inadvertent parallels people will make. You can talk about history and people go, oh, it's just like, and I'm like, oh, I guess it is, because history repeats. So just commenting on history is enough to really make a political statement, even if you don't mean to. Some people will take it that way. So just be prepared if they do, and go with it. But yeah, that's such an easy route to take. You don't even have to stress about it. So those are the 7 reasons it's best to leave religion and politics out of Faire performances, because in the end, it's just not worth it. Taking a stand outside of Faire, hey, feel free to say what you think and what you feel. It might affect some gigs that you get offered. It may. Some Faire owners can be fairly conservative. Some can be fairly liberal. I mean, you never know. And just like an audience, you're going to please some and probably upset others. But if it's important to you, make a statement outside of Faire. But when you're on Faire, a site, I don't think it's a good idea. So anyway, that's my 7 reasons. And boy, I guess that's probably about the most political I've gotten on this on this stream. So there you go. Alrighty. Well, and yeah, you're right, Janine. It is. Not many people have a sense of humor about their religious beliefs. Interestingly enough, the Irish tend to. I mean, they're angry as well, but they also make a lot of jokes about it. It's the music reflects that. There's a lot of funny songs about religion in Ireland, and believe me, I play some of them. But it's a good route to go. Okay. Well, yeah, I got you your 7 reasons, so I know you're happy. You're welcome. You're not wrong. I will say that I actually have thought about the possibility of when I'm at a fair at a particular location, it might be smart for me to learn the fight song for one of the local teams, whether it's football or basketball or whatever, probably more college, but the problem there is people travel to fairs so much. I'm just as likely to upset somebody from one of the rival schools in state, probably, because that happens so much. So that's why I haven't really pursued that. But you're right. Sports is always a risk too. Sometimes I'll make a reference to somebody who's wearing the attire, the hat or the coat or the shirt of their sports team, and lament because I happen to know that their team lost the past weekend, or they're playing a game later that night and they're at Faire anyway. So I just say, hey, you're here when your team's playing later today. Good luck with that. And I just leave it there. But that's about as far as I take it. So I totally understand, Kurt. Well, anyway, it's already later than I intend. I always try to end it at 7:30, but I wanted to make sure to get 7 reasons because I promised. So yeah, hopefully I'll have Faire this weekend. We shall see. And Harvey, yeah, I'll think about that. I'll think about Acadiana. I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting thought about traveling. Of course, if the weather's that bad, so bad that Palestine isn't going, it probably wouldn't be good to travel anyway, because I'm on the other side of Palestine to get to Acadiana. So yeah, that might not work this time, but it's an interesting thought. I like it. So yes, bye everyone. I will see you next week. Have a good day, a good week, and hopefully not bad weather. And as always, a fair life. Take care.